Let's hear it for Andy.
Woo! The 12 people that are here, thank you for coming out.
I had an in-depth conversation, sorry.
And we'll let you slide on that one. My name is Andy, and so today I went and got a haircut, and so you guys are welcome. So don't take a bum. And where I got my haircut at, and so I felt productive also too, because I did something, because I'm kind of retired right now. But and I don't do anything. But so right next door to where I get my haircut, there's a Penn Station. So I go in there and I order my food, and I'm sitting up it's like kind of not busy, and I'm sitting up like close to the front counter, and there's two guys standing there, and this is a true story. This just happened 4 hours ago, and they're like talking video games. They're talking about this book that, like, this one guy's like going, "Oh, you got to read this book. Like, if you're a video gamer, you got to read this book." And so it kind of like piques my interest, and I like chime in. I'm like, "You guys talking about video games?" And they're like, yeah, like, "Do you play video games?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not a fucking nerd." But actually, I am a nerd, and so that wasn't true. We actually talked about video games for like 10 minutes. I think we all know somebody, like a friend or an acquaintance or a coworker, where when we come across them, you randomly have a thought like, "You are stupid as hell, and how have you not randomly, like, accidentally killed yourself? Like, you are the reason they make warning labels on like Pop-Tarts." And so I have that thought every day. Every day I think that. And so after I have that thought, I just finish brushing my teeth, and then I get in the shower. So, yeah, exactly. And so I was out in Westchester this weekend, and this is another true story, and watching my dad's house, the dog, cat, whatever, long story. And I had to, when I left Sunday, I had to meet my lawyer to sign some paperwork. And we met at Starbucks out there, and I'm not like, Starbucks is $7 coffees or whatever, so I get there early, and so I get up to go get a coffee, and I like my coffee like I like my women, strong, black, and a little bitter. And so I'm standing there, and then there's, like, of course, like a super cliche behind me, this 22-year-old like blonde chick, like on her phone, Snapchatting or whatever she's doing, and she's like, "What are you gonna get?" And I'm like, "I'm just gonna get a tall coffee. I don't know what they call it here, grande or whatever." And she's like, "Well, that's boring. Like, are you at least gonna get it like iced or something?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just gonna get a tall coffee." And she's like, "Oh my God, that's so dumb. Like, look at all these options." And she starts listing them all off. And I just turn and I push her on the ground, and I pull off one of her Ugg boots and just hit her in the face. And and then my lawyer walked in, and I felt like that was a good time for him to walk in because I just committed assault. And then after the meeting, I signed a bunch of papers. I go to a gas station, and to get like beers, cigarettes, or whatever. And I'm standing. There was like a decent amount of like people in line, so we're like kind of like hanging out. And I'm behind, and I'm sure you guys have all probably experienced this. This guy, he's wearing like an Aerosmith t-shirt. He's in his like mid-50s. He's got blue jeans on, and he's got a 6-pack of beer and a bag of Frito-Lay potato chips. And he looks like a crackhead. Like, I mean, he's just like fidgety or whatever. So I'm standing there, and he has to talk, and he turns to me and he goes, "Hey man, you want to go half on this?" And like, I used to do a lot of drugs, so I'm thinking he goes like, do you want to go half on like an 8-ball of cocaine? And I'm like kind of intrigued, but I'm like a half on what? And he like holds up like the 6-pack of beer and the Frito-Lay. So he wants to like split that with me. And I was like, nah, dude, I'm good. I gotta go. And but the whole way home, I was thinking like, how like fucked up is it that like I was like way more intrigued on like doing an 8-ball of cocaine with some random crackhead than sitting like out on the picnic table outside of that gas station and eating like Frito-Lays and drinking beer. So so I think the theme has been set tonight for masturbation. When I first like discovered it when I was young, like maybe like 11 or 12, I was like, this is fucking great. Like, this is awesome. Like, why didn't anybody tell me about this earlier? And I'm like, that whole Santa Claus thing fucking sucked, and I didn't have, shit going on for like 5 years, but now I got this. So it's really, so this is my thing. But then, you get older and you start getting laid and, whatever. And so it kind of like fades away, like the interest in it. But, now that, I kind of don't really have much to do, I'm getting back into it. So I like to like play games with it too, because like, just like in any relationship, you want to keep it fresh. And so one thing I like to do is I like to take like a couple Tylenol PM and try to jack off before I fall asleep, and I usually win. And then also I like to play this game. Have we seen Shawshank Redemption? Everybody's seen that, or if you haven't. So there's a scene like kind of at the end where Andy Dufresne is gonna escape. He's on a pipe, and there's a big thunderstorm, and he is going to, every time the thunderclap happens, he hits the pipe so he can break in, and then he swims out through the pipe of shit. And so what I like to do, and it's weird because I kind of get turned on now because I've been playing this game, like when a thunderstorm happens, is whenever a thunderclap happens, I like jack off like real quick for like 3 seconds. And that doesn't really work out too good, but but that's what I like to do. And so anyway, I'm gonna end on that. And guys, I appreciate you guys listening to me, and I hope I wasn't too bad.
Good job, man.